Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Buenos días a todos, bienvenidos. And welcome to this third selection event based on visual technologies as part of the project 80 Virtual funded by European Regional Fund for North Atlantic Area. My name is Covadonga Suárez, Training Manager at JOVELLANOS Training Center, and I will conduct the public part of this event. To open this session, Mr. Julián Camus, Director of JOVELLANOS Training Center as host of this event, will give us the official welcome and a brief presentation about the Maritime Safety Training Center and the mission of our organization, SASEMAR. Julián, please.
Good morning. Warm welcome to all of you to the JOVELLANOS Center. I hope you spent a good night yesterday, so I can start explaining some things about our organization and the training center. But first of all, I would like to say that this event is quite important for us, not only because the event itself, but because after two very hard years of pandemic, we are here, at least without mask, face to face, in a presential event that is a great opportunity for all of us to meet each other and to stay here and pass a good 2 days. First of all, I'm going to show you a video of our organization, and then very briefly I will explain some notes, some things about our agency and our center.
En el mar, para un hombre al agua, 1 minuto es 1 año. En 1 minuto no lo ves. Te necesita. Eres su última opción. Por eso es muy importante que el centro de coordinación reciba la alerta, la gestione correctamente y movilice los medios.
Pues estáis listos para empezar aproximación.
Adelante para vuelo 01.
Esa toma de decisiones en caliente, contrarreloj, es lo más complicado.
Porque en la mar no hay segundas oportunidades, no hay tiempo para muchas veces ni siquiera rectificar una planificación.
¿Cómo vas a entrar? ¿Cómo vas a actuar? ¿Cómo vas a hacer? Tienes que pensar en el bien que haces, no en lo que te vas a encontrar, porque lo que te vas a encontrar muchas veces es más triste y más doloroso de lo que puedes llegar a pensar.
Trabajamos para estar preparados para salvar vidas cuando sea necesario.
Trabajar en la mar no es nada fácil.
Entraña muchos problemas.
Tú no puedes confiarte nunca.
No está en tus manos controlar absolutamente todo.
A veces se disparan los riesgos.
En esta cadena cada eslabón es importante. Nada puede fallar.
A todos nos gusta lo que hacemos. ¿Y para qué lo hacemos?
Hacer sentir a la gente pues, un poquito más segura.
Puerta abierta. Sacamos al rescatador.
Pues sacando el rescatador a la puerta.
Bajamos a 80 pies, ¿vale?
Y bajando el rescatador.
Cuando llegas aquí y traes a esa persona o personas que has sacado de un apuro gordo, la satisfacción es tan grande.
No se puede llegar a más, desde mi punto de vista.
Hay otras emergencias que no son nunca satisfactorias, son las contaminaciones. La contaminación es una desgracia para todos. Lo único que puedes hacer es intentar minimizar las consecuencias.
En estos 25 años que lleva la Sociedad de Salvamento funcionando, se ha convertido en un referente a nivel internacional en el salvamento de la vida humana, la lucha contra la contaminación y el control del tráfico marítimo.
La voluntad humana de solucionar una situación de emergencia es muy importante, es más importante que la tecnología.
Somos gente normal, haciéndolo lo mejor posible por y para la gente de la mar. El reconocimiento de saber que estás haciendo algo bueno por los demás.
Es una labor humana que todos los centros venimos haciendo en los últimos 25 años. Y realmente hay que vivirla, no basta con contarla.
Yo creo que todos tenemos una función en la vida y a mí me tocó ser esta. Es lo que me tocó ser. Y lo que quiero ser.
This is our organization in a very short video, and that's what we can do in our job, rescue people.
Un minuto es un año. En un minuto no lo ves.
Te necesita. Eres su última opción.
Por eso es muy importante que el Centro de Coordinación
It's okay. Huh? Okay. In 5 minutes, I try to present our organization and some tips of our center. This is a draw of our organization. We are in the low part, in the down part. We are the Maritime Safety Agency that belongs to the Merchant Marine Directorate, and at the end to the Ministry of Transport, Mobility and Urban Agenda. The Spanish Maritime Safety Agency was created in 1993, under the first marine merchant law. The main functions and the main tasks of our organization are obviously the search and rescue. On the other side, maritime surveillance and traffic control, fight against marine pollution, maritime safety, and of course, maritime safety training. That's our main task. The Spanish Maritime Agency is responsible to be watch of all of this area that we call search and rescue area. As you can see, this is about 1,500,000 square kilometers and about 8,000 kilometers of coastline. This is around 3 times the national land territory. To do this, the Spanish agency has these different assets. This is the maritime assets, air assets, units, some basic strategic bases, and the most important elements, centers, that are the maritime rescue centers. This is a picture of our units, where are there, and all covering all the coastline and all the search and rescue area. This is more or less a very short explanation of our organization. And I want to show you very fast our training center. Very, very fast. I think we have a visit in 2 hours or 3 hours, so you can see all our center very, very well. So I'm not going to explain every infrastructure, everything, because it's useless. More or less, this is the field, the training field. So you can see here in the first front all the area for firefighting, the area for sea survival, the area for courses with for safety in helicopters, and the main building that there are the simulators, the electronic simulators, navigation simulators, maneuver simulations, emergency managing simulator, so all the electronic simulators. This is more or less all the areas the center covers: the sea survival, vessel traffic services, navigation and maneuvers, communications, firefighting, pollution, and tailor-made courses or special courses. The most important to say is our best value is, of course, the tailor-made proposals. We can adapt any of our courses to our customers. So this is quite important for us because we can adapt everything to the customer. And finally, a small picture of companies and institutions that have been trained here in the JOVELLANOS Center. Of course, our agency, Salvamento Marítimo, the Merchant Marine Directorate, Fishing Inspections, EMSA, Frontex, EFCA, port authorities, all kind of fire brigades around Spain and Europe, the Guardia Civil, Customs, obviously the most crews of our owners, and industrial brigades, pilots, Dubai Police. So this is a small example, but many institutions and companies have trained here. We usually participate in international projects. This is some examples of them, and we are doing now immersed in different projects, and we did and we will do probably many participations in projects. This is some examples: the Picasso as coordinators, the STM, Last Fire, the IT Virtual, of course, Coral NG, FANET, Mona Lisa, Eusice, Marnis, Tosca, etc. So after 30 years of life, we have participated in many projects, international projects, and we will continue participating in these projects. So that's all for me. It's very fast and just an image of our organization and our center.
Thank you, Julian. And now it's the moment to present the IT Virtual project for those of you that know are so related with. We count this morning with the presence at JOVELLANOS Center of Cristina Fanjul. Cristina is the Managing Director of CEI Asturias, leader of this project. She's very involved in European projects and strategies as President of EBN, European Association of Business Innovation Centers. She's also expert evaluator of International EIC Accelerator, European Innovation Council plus Horizon Europe, member of Marie Curie Advisory Committee, and member of the Advisory Council of the High Commissioner for Spain Entrepreneurial Nation. Cristina, please, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, Covadonga. Thank you very much, Julian. It's a real pleasure to be here in this extraordinary, amazing installation of the SASEMAR Centro JOVELLANOS Center. Thank you to everybody who is today with us. It's a pleasure to be together again, especially our partners from the AT Virtual Project, but all the people who is joining us to really enjoy this extraordinary journey today for the selection event. My name is Cristina. I'm director of CE Asturias, the lead partner of this AT project, and I'm here to explain you a little bit why we are here. Why we are here, because the name AT Virtual is very familiar for many of you, because AT Virtual is the name who has created this ecosystem of innovation. But also today, there's some contents that can attract people who is not so familiar with the AT Venture. So let me explain a little bit about this. First of all, AT Virtual is an Atlantic, a European cooperation program. As an Atlantic area, the maritime, the sea is a very main element, the element of the ecosystem, natural element, social element, but it's also an economic and innovation element. And when we think about the AT Virtual project, just at the beginning, when we draft the proposal, we always think in the possibility to link this extraordinary element, which is the sea, who really links all the region in the Atlantic facade, with the innovation and digitalization. And this is the key of the project, how to involve, how to incorporate innovation between some of the elements, some of the methodologies, some of the process around the sea. So for the AT Virtual project, they start in 2019. They will end at the end of this year. Hopefully, we will find a way to make an extension of the projects and to have some extra month to work with. But the basis of the concept, it's always innovation. It's open innovation. Open innovation is a new paradigm where R&D, where innovation is not only emerged from the region or on the organization in itself, but it's a way to make and put people in common, people who is not able to coincide, but to make this extraordinary link between, for example, the startup community and the maritime centers. And this is the real key, how to make that all these entities puts innovation, puts technology, augmented technologies, IoT, big data, analytics into this process of maritime safety, maritime security. So in the project AT Virtual, we are 3 different categories of members. First of all, the maritime safety centers. I cannot give and cannot add any more that Julian said about the maritime centers. Every video is impressive. The installation, the visit, please enjoy the visit because it's something absolutely amazing. And the second part of the agents are the business innovation centers, are incubators, accelerators who have the opportunity to really involve the local and regional ecosystems, startup ecosystem, into this process of open innovation. And at the end, there's another third category in the project, which is Tecnalia, which is our technology center, who is always giving methodology as some support for some of the activities of the project. So let me very quickly say you why we are here, what are the steps behind us who really get us to this. First of all, the diagnosis. Open innovation cannot work, in itself by putting people together. They need to follow a methodology. And the methodology of IT Virtual started with a very deep diagnosis about the digitalization, the maturity of the level of digitalization of the maturity of the centers, and also a diagnosis about the potential challenges could we always fit and make the matchmaking between the proposals of the startup community. Then we need to identify the challenge, we launch the open calls, and then you startups really give solutions to these challenges. So we are here making the final part of these selections and to arrive, which is really the key of the project, which is the implementation, which is prototyping, which is really make the test of the innovation and how it works in reality. It's not easy. I will say, arriving at this point, that it's not easy. The concept of open innovation probably was not created for public centers, and we are here making this extraordinary effort to really find a way that the open innovation could be a reality, a more familiar reality, a more regular familiarity. So we are, as a testing, as a pilot phase, really suffering, and many of you are suffering, the consequences of this, let's say, gap between our idea of open innovation and the reality of the procedures. But it's true that the European platform of AT Virtual is giving us a lot of solutions and a lot of things to reflect on the future to make this more familiar. So we are here at the end of the selection project. Many of you are here to present your innovation, to present your prototypes, to present the reality, and the maritime centers will be here to really hear you and to really find a way to make this matchmaking. So for everybody, good luck, because I think it's an important step for you to be here, to be hear it. And then the AT Virtual project will be more than happy to provide this platform for the implementation. Today, it's an exciting journey. Today, we have a lot of contents. We have these pitching experiences. We have the business-to-business contact. We have extraordinary expertise from the parts of some experts and some companies who have arrived to really develop some really interesting innovation. And of course, the visit that I mentioned before, which is, I think, an amazing experience for many of us. So for everybody, thanks again to be here. A pleasure to be in physical. Also, a hello for everybody who is contacting online. And please enjoy all the journey.
Okay, thank you, Cristina, for this comprehensive explanation of the project, of our project. And now is the moment to present the challenge proposed by the Maritime Safety Training Centers. We will hear now a representative of each training center presenting the project, exposing what are their needs, our needs, in a specific area of our daily work, with the objective to find an emerging technology-based solution to solve this gap. In the first place, we will listen to the challenge proposed by our center, by JOVELLANOS Training Center. It's called Vision Technologies for Emergency Procedure in a Helicopter Cabin Mock-up. Jesus Loza will present, and he is the coordinator at JOVELLANOS Center of the Training for Emergency Procedures for Aerial Unit Crews operating offshore. He is certified by OPITO as Hewitt Diver, OPITO Instructor, OPITO Supervisor, and also by the Global Wind Organization as Maritime Safety Procedures Trainer and Supervisor. Jesus has a very extensive experience working on prototype and simulators related always with safety at sea, as a thermal print simulator of a person in seawater, or the design of a realistic helicopter simulator specific for SAR, search and rescue operations at sea. Jesus, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Covadonga. My first objective for today is to be as brief as possible. And I don't know if you have the opportunity a few months ago to see the Info Day presentation. I'm going to show to you this short version of that, and starting by the core. Our first step in visual technologies to our training program was this prototype of hybrid simulator with a physical part, as you can see. This represents a cross-section of the rear cabin of AW139 helicopter, or main helicopter in SAR operations of SASEMAR. And we have in this rear section 4 emergency exits that must be operated by a rescue swimmer or a hoist operator in an emergency situation. To get the best training experience, we developed this. You can see this simulator has the same dimensions, And as this is only a prototype, we have only one emergency exit. In the real helicopter, they have 4 emergency exits. To show how it works, the virtual reality element of this simulator, I'm going to show to you a short video. You can see here the seat for the delegate. And during the practice, they use the virtual reality goggles, and they can feel this. You can see here the emergency exit that they must to operate after in this case, an emergency landing.
Warning, warning. Engine 1 and 2 out. Engine 1 and 2 out. Engine 1 and 2 out. Engine 1 and 2 out.
Okay. Our objective with this prototype was test if we have the capability to develop a hybrid solution. We use in this simulator the visual technologies, virtual reality, as a complement of the training. The main important element in this case is not the visual technologies, is feel the real experience of the push out the window. This is not possible in the general simulators we can find around the world because they can't test the procedure, the move of the hand, but is not usually feel the real experience. How many force we must to develop to push out this window, and where we must to push out, in the corner, in the middle of the window, and how it works. This is the main quality of the simulator, but use the virtual reality as a complement to get immersive experience. Actually, we have this other simulator. In this case, is a real fuselage of a AW109 helicopter, a shorter version of 139. This is a real helicopter. And we use actually in our training programs. We have there different analogic systems, and I can show to you in this short clip. As you can read, it has different systems, vibration, sounds, smoke, and this is a picture of a real training. We simulate an emergency with all crew members on board, or in this case, delegates, simulate finally a ditching in our external pool, and this permits develop all complex procedures in a real scenario. And as you can see, our objective is to have the best simulators or best tools to have a complete experience in the emergency situations with helicopters. We can simulate emergency landing, emergency ditching, procedures. In that case, we must simulate a real rescue with a SAR helicopter, and in the event of a ditching helicopter in a submerged cabin, we have also this opportunity of training. For this project, for this actual project, we need complete this training with, in this case, with the visual technologies to support different different options. This is a step-by-step idea. Obviously, we can get better training experience if we have complement of visual technologies in the different areas of a helicopter, in the cockpit area. Cockpit is where pilots is working, in the rear cabin, or around in the environment, the external environment of the helicopter. This is our final objective. We know perhaps it's not possible to complete all these tasks, but as I said before, this is a step-by-step idea, and we hope we can start with this project to complete the scenarios. This is all. No sé what's happened. Yeah. I think we are going to have a visit to this simulator in more or less 2 hours, and if you have any question, I can answer it. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Jesus, for the explanation. Now is the turn of the Maritime National College of Ireland in Cork. Yes, their challenge for virtual technology is called virtual reality for firefighting training. My crew will present the challenge in this case. Mike is a maritime mechatronic engineer who specializes in embedded computer firm coding, human-machine interaction, 3D modeling and prototype development, and electronic circuit design. More related with our presentation, Mike worked previously in the civilian and manned aircraft sector as an own operator and instructor, and he was also a helicopter pilot in the offshore oil and gas industry, and worked on board oil and gas survey vessel as a marine geophysics engineer. Mike, the floor is yours.
Thank you. And thank you, Jesus. Good morning, everybody, and who here, and good morning also to our startups who are joining online. So I just start by introducing myself. My name is Mike Grew, and I work for the Halpin Research Centre, which is the maritime arm of the National Maritime College of Ireland. And we are a part of the Munster Technological University. So our mission is to conduct maritime research in general, but we're not experts in either of the challenges that we've posed, virtual reality and the Internet of Things. So I'll just, for the benefit of our startups, just briefly show us the structure of our organization. So within the Maritime College of Ireland, we have the Research Centre, the Nautical School that deals with training merchant marine candidates for engine room and bridge officers, and also an arm that deals with the safety training. And this is a separate entity. It's actually a commercial collaboration. The Munster Technological University has 3 campuses across the southern region of Ireland, and you can see Ringaskiddy is where the Maritime College is based, and that's where our challenges will be developed. And because we're not experts in this field, we're drawing on colleagues who work within the Munster Technological University. So we have Juan Martinez and Andrew De Juan, who work at the Nimbus Research Centre, which is based in Bishopstown, near Cork City, in the main campus. And they are experts in virtual reality. And they'll be hosting the business-to-business meetings this afternoon, with also representatives for the Maritime Training Services Centre, either Jim O'Byrne or Ray Johnston. So what are our requirements for virtual reality solution? So we asked instructors how they felt, what their needs were, and we spoke to management as well. And before I talk about the instructors' feedback, we also have to talk about the comments from management, because we can't introduce virtual reality as a training aid directly, although this would be a very valuable asset, because of course being able to reduce the pollution that's created when live fire training is carried out is an important ambition. But all of the training that's done at the moment is to provide candidates with certification without which they can't carry out their jobs. So we can't interfere with the programs that we have at present. So in part, this challenge is to pave the way for future use of virtual reality, more intensive use of augmented reality and virtual reality in firefighting training. But we have to take small steps. So in setting out this challenge, we decided that we would be looking for a relatively modest goals. So we spoke to our instructors and asked them what the main problems they faced. And it boiled down to 2 things. One was time that's wasted, and the second is communications difficulties. So the time is wasted because sometimes novice trainees come to the training program, they haven't been involved in live firefighting training before, and they find the experience overwhelming, and that can slow down their learning. So a way of introducing them to the equipment they'll be using and the facility itself is valuable, or might reduce the drawbacks in their initial training. And secondly, many of the courses that are carried out are not directly linked to firefighting training. They're for experienced personnel to develop leadership skills and teamwork skills. So for those people, they come to the centre having trained previously at other safety training centres like the centre here, with different equipment and in different facilities, and time has to be spent to familiarise them with the layout and the equipment before they can even begin the training that they're actually at the Maritime College for. So if virtual reality or augmented reality could be used to simplify that process, it would make the training more efficient and more productive. And communications is always an issue for the instructors, because they're dealing with live firefighting, simulated live training, but it is with live fire. So there's noise, there's confusion, and the instructor's primary goal is to maintain safety. So they're not able to give instructions, speaking clearly as I am to today. They're talking themselves through breathing apparatus, and it's difficult for the communications to get through. So we have 3 solutions that we were looking for. One is navigation of the, I've missed a few slides, I'm sorry. So this is the communications to give you an indication of the problems that they face in live firefighting. So there's noise and confusion. So we developed, we wanted them to develop 3 systems or 3 prototypes. The first would be a simple navigation exercise to allow us candidates to learn the layout of the fire training unit that we use. It's important. So here is an external view of the training unit. And you can see that it's no more than 20-foot containers stacked together. But within that, there are a number of spaces that have been rigged with props. These just give a couple of examples for the benefit of our startups to show that the level of detail of texture is very limited within these spaces. The one on the left is the engine room mock-up, and the one on the right is the galley. And this is the mock-up of the accommodation showing a bunk, and on the left is the bunk when it's on fire. These flames are actually gas fires that cannot be extinguished, so instructors control the flames manually, and when they consider that the exercise has been carried out correctly, the right procedures have been used for extinguishing, then they will turn the flames off. So it's very much a simulation, but the flames are real, and the smoke is real, and it's hot. So in that respect, it's a real fire. But because the fire extinguisher is not used to extinguish the fire, there is a lack of reality in this respect. So you can imagine how virtual reality could be used to good advantage in the future, although in this instance, we're only interested in developing a navigation walkthrough to familiarize trainees with the layout. The second challenge is what we call first aid firefighting. So we're asking the virtual reality to be used, or augmented reality to be used, to allow trainees to develop habits that they will use later, not to put out fires, but to prepare equipment to be used. Because you can't just tackle a fire with a fire extinguisher without first checking that it's functional and without removing the safety pin, for example, checking that it has pressure, and preparing it for use. So these are operations that can be carried out very easily outside of the live firefighting to save time, and because they could be repeated, they could be ingrained in a way that wouldn't be possible in a normal training scenario where the emphasis is on actually putting out the fire and using and developing fire extinguishing techniques. And then also we want to allow them to familiarize themselves with the breathing apparatus, because this equipment does have quite complex preparation procedures to check that the air pressure and the valves are working, and the emergency whistle, low pressure whistle, is working. And again, these tests vary from equipment to equipment slightly. So to familiarize people who have trained previously with the equipment they'll be using is a valuable benefit. And finally, we're looking to use virtual reality to help in a simple casualty search scenario where we want the trainees to develop the correct procedure for teamwork when they're navigating in smoke-filled places. So the example on the top is what we call informally the BA, or breathing apparatus shuffle. So we have 3 people in a team. They're linked together physically. They're holding onto each other by the belt so that they can't lose contact. The person who is nearest the wall is following the wall so that they can't get lost, and they're circulating in the space in a specific direction. And then they're checking the floor at the same time to make sure that the floor is safe to walk on, and there are procedures for going through hatches. All of these take time to develop these habits correctly, and using augmented reality, virtual reality as a tool would give them the opportunity to develop these habits and reinforce the learning without spending a lot of time, wasting any time in the live training scenarios. Thanks very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike, for the explanation. No doubt your challenge is a common interest for all the training centers, maritime training centers. And now is the turn of our colleagues of the Escola Superior Náutica Infante Don Enrique in Portugal. The first challenge they present on Vision Technologies is called Virtual Celestial Environment for Celestial Navigation. We present João Carlos Frade. João is member of the coordinating team of AT Virtual Project, captain of Merchant Marine, and professor in navigation area in ENIT, a maritime academy for merchant marine officers located in Passo de Arcos, Portugal. Now, João, please.
It's in the end. Thank you, Covadonga, and congratulations for the organization. It's a pleasure be here in this face-to-face meeting of AT Virtual. My name is João Frade, and I will try present a very quick presentation regarding our challenge for vision technology. So as Covadonga said, ENIT, it's located in the Passo de Arcos. Was founded in 1924, and we are in Passo de Arcos since 72. We have many facilities, as you can see, the main buildings, the gym, the pool, and our campus in that picture. We have 2 departments, transport and logistics and marine engineering, with 5 undergraduate courses and 2 graduate courses. We propose to develop that challenge. It will be virtual celestial environment for celestial navigation. So, in the context and definition of the problem, the STCW, as many of you know, define the requirements for the maritime training. And the knowledge of celestial navigation is part of STCW code, including the ability to use the celestial bodies to determine the ship's position. So, in this sense, celestial navigation is the only alternative method of electronic navigation. So it's important for all deck officers to know the use of this method. In this sense, it becomes essential to simplify this teaching and learning process of this method. The proposed solution will make possible to develop with great easy understanding the acquisition and knowledge of the use of celestial navigation. That is our intention. We propose to develop a solution of vision technology, as I said, that can show the celestial bodies above the horizon to allow the students to understand better in the classroom how it's works and how can we use the astro navigation to determine the ship's positions. The main objective of the solution is to support students and deck officers to identify and view the main topics of celestial navigation. Depending on the geographic coordinates and time, it will be possible to identify the visible stars and then and all elements to make possible to determine the ship position. When selecting the star, the observer should be geographical visualize the horizontal and equatorial coordinates. This is 2 kinds of systems that we need to use to determine the ship position. The requirements for this challenge, the solution must fulfill the following technical requirements. It is more or less the knowledge we have in the 2 curricular units for allow students to acquire this knowledge, the possibility to introducing the geographic coordinates, changing the position, automatic update of the nautical almanac to allow to make this application possible to use in the future, and possible to select each type of celestial coordinators in order to view only partial information as described in the expect outcomes. So we have some functions to allow the students to understand and view these phenomena. The expected outcomes of the solution proposed to be developed are the following: attractive and interactive applications. So I think with this technology will be possible make attractive possible for the students see this method. Identify all coordinating systems. Show the astronavigation triangle. It's the base for determining the position. Show the prime meridian. And also apparent motion of the sun, the stars, in the real time and in the fast mode to better understand the apparent motion of the stars. The ecliptic, show the zodiac, and also the eclipse solar and lunar. So the budget for the application is 50,000, as the startups already know, and we have 3,000 for the procurement for hardware. And it's a very quick presentation, but it's the 5 minutes, so thank you very much, and it's done. Thank you.
Thank you, Joao. Quick but efficient. We all hope that you find a solution for your challenge. Well, those were the challenges presented in the third call related with virtual technologies. But we have two remaining challenges related with Internet of Things that couldn't be solved in the first call. Today, we have the opportunity to present them again and find a proposal presented by the startups selected to match emerging technologies and maritime safety training. It's the turn of the Mike again from MTU to tell us about their challenge based on Internet of Things called Environmental Sensor Array. Yes, Mike, please.
Thank you, Covadonga. So I won't waste any time by reintroducing myself. So for the benefits of the startups who we'll be talking to later, I'll just point out that we'll be joined online by Alex Bakaloudis, who is a colleague at the Nimbus Centre at Bishopstown, who is an expert in embedded technology and wireless technologies. And again, we'll be joined by representatives from the safety training organization. So what is our challenge for the IoT? Survival craft training is an essential aspect of our maritime safety training program that's required by all crew who work on ships and offshore platforms to be able to pilot survival craft at a very basic level, because of course in an emergency they may be the only people left fit to do that. So everybody has to have a very basic knowledge of survival craft use so that they can release the craft once it's launched and drive it away is not the correct term, but pilot it or be the coxswain. So we carry out our training in Cork Harbour, which is a real-life water, and I just want to show a very basic view of the layout, again for the benefits of our startups. So this is a panoramic view of Cork Harbour, and in the centre of the picture, we can see the jetty, which leads out, the walkway that leads out to the jetty, and this is the NMCI training facility. But it's quite a crowded area. To the right, there's another jetty, which is a public access facility, and then beyond that is the JOVELLANOS island, where the Irish Navy has the main Irish Navy base for Ireland. At the end of the jetty, we've got a facility for launching survival craft, either traditionally from davits where they're lowered into the water, or from the free fall type of of release. Leading down from the life raft area, or the life raft launching area, is the pontoon where the survival craft to launch from, fast rescue craft, which are also used for training, are launched from, and a safety officer will be normally standing there and watching the training craft operating in the harbour. Training in real water is very beneficial for the learners, but it comes with drawbacks. The water that the harbour area is subject to local weather, a microclimate. So often we get sudden squalls, which would be storms, not very violent storms, but weather would come in quite quickly. And we have to keep the training within strict limits of sea state or water conditions, wave height and wind strength. So the instructors have to make decisions short notice as to whether the training is safe to continue, and they'll be monitoring the water and making this observation by eye, subjectively, which is, as things stand, it works very well, but it does depend on those instructors' experience and their personal preferences, and that information isn't easily passed on from one generation of instructor to the next. So having a live data feed, which could be used to make those decisions and then analyzed later so that decisions can be objective, would be an advantage so that for future use. So what are the problems that we face? We have shallow water, fluctuating conditions. You can see the top picture of the water is obviously very shallow. The sand slopes away from the beach and can leave areas of unexpected shallow water. It's also subject to scouring, which is strong tides, strong currents, washing away the sand and leaving channels where they weren't before and filling in areas which were channels. There are obstacles, and of course where that happens, not knowing the depth of water when you're launching a freefall lifeboat is a significant problem. So a better knowledge of water depth would be important. Obstacles, as you can see, we have the bridge to the island, to the whole bowline, and now we also have the pontoon, or the jetty that leads out to the public access pontoon. These create regions of fast-flowing water and lead to debris building up very quickly. So monitoring water depth, monitoring water speed are important. What is our main use case then? We want to gather data in real time. We want to store that data, but primarily we want access to the data by the safety officer who's making decisions on the day. We want the buoys that are collecting data to be launched prior to training and only used for the duration of the training. They'll be in specific locations to gather data for the sites where there are hazards. And we want to keep the data so that it could be analyzed in long term for trends such as seasonal trends. But most important, we want the instructor to have real-time data, so he must be able to see a presentation of the data on a mobile device. I've just shown a smartphone, but it could be any mobile device. And what does this use case look like when it's deployed? So this is just the survival craft. I'm just circling, I'm just showing each of the points in turn. So the survival craft is training in the harbour. The safety officer is monitoring conditions with a mobile app. The buoys are located in the harbour, and you'll notice that the buoys have a windsock. I've indicated them having windsock, and this is important because one consideration in this use case is that for instructors who are on board the survival craft may not be able to access data, even if they have a mobile device, because they're in on board the craft, it's noisy, and they don't have the opportunity to monitor a device. So for the best way that they can get real-time information is simply through a visual aid such as a windsock, which shows the wind speed and direction instantly. And also the possibility to make the system modular so that we could have an indicator for just wind on the jetty. So the needs we have are for water depth, water velocity, basic air temperature and wind, and then anti-collision light, because of course this system will be, training is done, not at night, but certainly when it's in poor visibility or dusk. We need to have a trend, we need a real-time data to be collected at least every 15 seconds to make the real-time data suitable for decision-making, and we want the trend to be monitored over a 10-minute period because if you're looking at wind, it makes more sense really to be thinking in terms of averages rather than instantaneous wind. The data should be available on a mobile device and stored to a back end. We want the cost of the system to be as low as possible because we need more than one of these devices, although the project is only to develop a prototype for the deployment. If we were to take it live, then we would need at least 3 of these. The power budget is modest, only 12 hours, because we're deploying just while the training is ongoing. We're interested in discussions about how the system is to be deployed, whether it's to be anchored as a traditional buoy or maybe anchorless, so it could be a USV. As for the sensors themselves, this comes out of the €3,000 budget that you should be aware of through the terms of reference for AT Virtual. So it's down to NMCI to provide the sensors. We already have the water depth sensor, and we are going to be using an innovative water velocity sensor. I can't show it in the picture because it's actually being developed by another company that was previously involved with AT Virtual. So there's a little bit of synergy here already with the way that the project has, the outreach of the project, and bringing innovation in, because this is a startup company that we initially approached in the first round. And although that project wasn't taken to fruition, we did nevertheless maintain a relationship with the company who are developing the sensor, and will be using it in collaboration with them. And finally, I'll just leave our startups with an indication of the fact that this isn't just a technology challenge, it's also a practical challenge. This is a typical buoy, it's a low-cost sensor buoy, which was developed for an academic project. It's what you would expect. It's a simple flotation device with sensor package and a mooring. And the problem is that it's not very portable, and manhandling it is obviously an issue. So we require our solution to be a lot simpler than that, because we don't have the kind of workcraft that would be required for deployment. And this is just a sketch of a very simple suggestion for prototype, and the summary of our needs. And that's all I have for this presentation. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mike. It's incredible the common points we have between all the needs of the training center. Yes. Well, and now to close this part of the selection event about the challenge presentation, we will receive another team of the ENIT School in Lisbon, and they are presenting their challenge on IoT, enhancing small craft handling and rescue training. We'll present Pedro Silveira. Pedro is a merchant marine officer and holds a PhD in naval architecture and ocean engineering. He's an assistant professor at ENID and is a member of Centec IST, a research center for marine technology and ocean engineering. Pedro, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Covadonga. It's a real pleasure to be here in this beautiful city and this wonderful training center, and to finally meet everyone face to face. So my name is Pedro Silveira. I am an assistant professor at ENID, which is a higher education institution that is mainly focused on training merchant marine officers. We are the only one doing that in Portugal. And in our curriculum of the study programs, all aspects of maritime safety are covered, such as evacuation and survival at sea, search and rescue, firefighting, prevention and detection, occupational safety, among others. So our challenge is focused on the part of the training that is carried out on small craft, such as lifeboats and rescue boats. So this maritime safety training is carried out in open waters very near to our facilities. These small crafts are used to develop handling and rescue skills in realistic scenarios, and as such, these vessels are affected by winds and currents, river currents and tidal currents. And during the exercises that we conduct, the students' performances are assessed, and some corrections are suggested to improve the learning outcomes. However, those assessments that we do as teachers and trainers are done mainly based on our visual assessment, and obtaining data, real-time data and data that can be used in future research can be very useful for us. So if we were to have data from the vessels, from the rescue dummy that we use for our training exercises, and also from the weather, this could be very valuable to increase our understanding and the students' understanding of the effects of the wind and current, and to ultimately improve their proficiency. So what we propose is the development of a solution to allow for real-time monitoring of small craft training and to improve exercise debriefings in the classroom using IoT sensors and technology. The movements of the vessels and the movements of the rescue dummy are to be recorded for later replay, as well to be used, as I said, in research, because it's also one of our missions to conduct scientific research in the maritime domain. This solution shall also be able to record and replay data from an existing weather station. What do we expect from this solution? Well, we expect a user-friendly, highly flexible and configurable solution or application or platform that will enhance the learning of the small craft handling and search and rescue techniques. We also expect to collect and store data for future research projects, and we expect the solution to have a positive impact on the students' proficiency level once the training is complete, because it will be possible to more accurately perform an analysis and to suggest corrections in real time to the students, and also in the classroom debriefing. This will also provide some tools for us, for the teachers, for the trainers, to improve the way that we are passing our knowledge, because it will also increase our awareness of what is going on. And also we aim to increase the students' interest in maritime safety-related subjects and how new technologies like IoT technologies can be useful in their future careers. So this is just the map of our facilities, where the station is, and the area where we operate in the Tagus River and also in the Atlantic Ocean. So the budget is 15,000 euros for the proponents' costs and an additional 3,000 for hardware procurement. Thank you very much. That concludes my brief presentation.
Thank you, Pedro, and thank you all of you. You can leave the stage if you want, all the representatives of the training centers. Well, now we will stop the selection event, and we will take the opportunity to work a little about successful cases in the workshop. AT Virtual aims to improve Atlantic area capacity, preparedness, resilience, and incident response to maritime emergencies in Atlantic waters, by fostering innovation and sustainable growth in businesses, accelerating the digitalization of maritime safety training centers through the introduction of these new emerging technologies. But there are several successful cases of implementation of this kind of technologies in training, who can be an inspiration to get our goal, even in other sectors different of maritime. Today, in the framework of this AT Virtual project and the third selection event based on vision technology, we want to know a little more about these cases from two different perspectives. One, the perspective of the startup, and the other one, the perspective of the Business Innovation Center. We will start with the presentation VR technologies applied to training offered by the European Maritime Safety Agency, EMSA, by Marcos Viñuela, CEO at Symbiosis and leader of the consortium that is developing the BRESI project for EMSA, a consortium formed in addition to Symbiosis by other two Asturian companies, Signal Software and Ubiquare. Marcos is degree in Advertising and Public Relations and Technical Engineering in Computer Science. He has a professional experience that begins in 1999 and includes work for a large multinational consulting company, in the public administration, in the Innovation Center of the University to Oviedo, and finishing 14 years ago, starting and founding his own company, Symbiosis, which has become a reference in the design and development of multi-device and multi-platform application in the clouds, combining the use of technology and user experience design with an unusual ability to collaborate in the creation of innovative projects and products at national and international levels. Marcos, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Covadonga. Good morning, everyone. I want to start my presentation thanking CEI and Centro JOVELLANOS for inviting us to present our project here in this event. As Covadonga said, I'm Marcos Viñuela, CEO of Symbiosis, but I'm here as a representative of the consortium WebVR training experts, formally composed by three Asturian companies, Signal Software, Ubiquare, and Symbiosis. In 2019, this consortium was awarded the EMSA contract to define, design, and build a solution to train ship inspectors using VR technologies. Let me talk a little bit about WebVR training experts. This consortium was created to apply this contract, taking advantage of the previous experience of the three companies. It is formed by Signal Software. Signal Software is a company specialized since 2006 in graphic programming services, creating visualization solutions and simulators. They are able to develop 3D VR viewers, efficient and highly detailed models and scenarios. The second one is Ubiquare. Ubiquare was founded in 2014. They are experts in ensuring quality in the software development process by providing consulting services to implement Agile and DevOps methodologies in large technology companies and software factories, ensuring scalability, security, consistency, and quality of the developed solutions. And in the third place, Symbiosis, the company I'm leading. Since 2008, an ICT company specialized in the strategic design of digital products. Its competitive difference lies in the combination of user experience design, technology, and business cooperation for entrepreneurship. Talking about BRESI project, VRESI, means virtual reality environments for ship inspections. The contract specifications for this project were so general that the project seemed more like an open innovation challenge with ENSA looking for a way to teach its inspectors in the most accessible and efficient way using VR technologies. The main challenge we're trying to solve was to find a solution that would integrate with traditional e-learning platforms using 3D and WebVR technologies to make the training practical and immersive. In this way, we would facilitate access to our solution from a PC or using VR glasses to anyone connected to the internet from home. BRESI finally went live, accessible to all EMSA staff and partners earlier this year. And as a picture is worth 1,000 words, in this case, a video, this is BRESI. Here we can see an entrance to an exercise. When we are seeing all the characteristics of the exercise, and here is the view of entering the platform and make an exercise. It's a person connected to the platform. Here we are seeing the WebVR, Web 3D view, but if you are using your VR glasses, you are viewing it in first person. Okay, you can move all around the scenario. You can make actions with objects, take a picture, chat with other characters. Activate or deactivate. Any component can have different actions depending on the type of the component. You can switch on or switch off screens, or take a look to a fire extinguisher etiquette. Here is an example making a conversation, showing a real video of a situation. Here is an example of how you can take a picture of every step you make in the scenario. And here, another way of navigating for the scenario is to go through a map, selecting the area you want to visit and go directly to there. You can even climb upstairs or. And once you complete the exercise, we store all the information. We track all the actions the user made in the scenario, and we have this log, and we have the pictures you take, we can help evaluators and students to evaluate SSI's results. Here is other characteristic of the platform is multi-user. We are integrating, in this case, we are integrating with Teams, Microsoft Teams video conference software, and we are creating these chat rooms or video rooms in the every instance of the SSIs can have this connection, and you can see all the people participating in the SSIs identified in the same SSIs as a character. Anyone is a different character. And finally, you can make SSIs. These SSIs can be configured by the learner and can install any kind of variable you can imagine from the context, even the weather, the ship conditions, the characters, the look and feel of the characters. You can put a different inspector, or you can change between a rainy day and sunny day, or afternoon or at morning. The conditions of the rooms. It's the same room with different conditions. And you can configure it in a general way. This is nearly at night, and this is at night with a light bulb in your protection. Yeah. And the last characteristic is you can export the results, the SSIs, the entire SSIs, in an e-learning standard format, which is a SCORM. It's a way of packaging the content and publish it in any learning management system like Moodle or whatever you want. Mm-hmm. You can integrate this way. You can integrate it into the traditional way method of learning through internet, and that's all. Thank you very much. I'll be there for your questions.
Thank you, Marcos. It's really a proud to come with this representation of Asturian and Spanish companies in EMSA. It's the maximum exponent in Europe of the seafarers and the safety training centers. And now we want to hear about the other point of view. The BICs, those who make possible the nexus between those who implement the solution and develop the technology and us, who are the need. We have needs we need to solve, and the BICs look for the matching between all of us. We come this morning with Valérie Mouron. She's an international network manager at Laval-Mayenne Technopole. Valérie joined Laval-Mayenne Technopole in 2003 to be in charge of communication and European-funded projects. Since then, she has been involved in 15 European-funded projects, being at the heart of the Laval Virtual Cluster, dedicated to immersive technologies and gathering companies, research labs, higher education, and the first European event dealing with these technologies, Laval Virtual. Laval-Mayenne Technopole has supported a numerous projects and a significant number of companies in relation with vision and immersive technologies. Valérie, please.
Thank you very much, Koba, and hi everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here with you in Asturias today, and hello also to those joining online. So here it is. So I'm Valérie Moreau from Laval-Mayenne Technopole. We are EU BIC located in the west part of France. So on a daily basis, we are dealing with companies, and we are developing innovation in our territory in Mayenne. And so we support economic development through innovation on our territory. And in Mayenne, we have a specific cluster dedicated to vision technologies, immersive technologies, AR, VR, and this has started back in 1999, and it was, well, political will at the time. I won't tell you all the story today. But the fact is that now we have gathered on our territory competencies and very high-skilled people through companies, research labs, RTOs, and the international event Laval Virtual. So it means that we have all the ingredients on our territory to develop new and innovative products and services around virtual technologies, and then we are also focusing a lot on their uses. So we have gained also international recognition thanks to this all. So this is why now, in the framework of this at a virtual selection event, I'm going to present you some examples of companies we have supported to develop innovative products for the training sector, thanks to VR and vision technology tools tools. Sorry. And so training is one of the major sectors where immersive technologies will apply, because there are very high and massive benefits for the training industry thanks to immersive and vision technologies. Indeed, you can get very easily customized interactive and collaborative environment, and the trainings that you will get there is shorter and less expensive than in real life training, and most of all, it's less at risk, and it's riskless actually. And also it gets more attractive for the trainees because they are very active, they get easily autonomous, and you can also record what they are doing and then work on the KPIs and things like this. And also you can anticipate the intervention environment, and you can imagine various scenarios and you can immerse them in all possible scenarios. So I'm going to give you examples we have been supporting either ourselves or partners in our network around us. And we can see that what is very important is that it's really learning by doing. And this is the main thing that virtual reality and immersive technology will help to do. So the first example is a very interesting one, because it's really getting from a company which was which was expert in industrial paint, and then they have developed an innovative training tool for training industrial painters. So this was back in 2012, and these people came to us, and they took part in a challenge organized by Laval Mayenne Technopole with students. And then what they asked to the students at the time was that they wanted them to give the idea or develop the ideal tool for industrial training paintings. Because the problem they had at the time is that it's really difficult to train the people with industrial painting, because you need high skills. And also it takes lots of time and lots of consumable, and then the time for the training is rather high, and then you have to move people from one place to the other. So what they have developed is this tool, which is training, immersive training, and then the trainee, they will just like paint on real pieces to be painted, and they won't need any painting room, and then there won't be any spoiled object anymore, and no consumable is needed. And what is important also is that you can record and replay also what has been done, and then you can learn by doing, learn by your mistake, and you can do as many times as it is needed. So it's really a reduced training cost, and also it has increased the speed of employability, because this is a major issue now to be able to train people with really high skills, and then this has speed up also this has speed up the time for to get trained for the training. And so now the tool has been developed and is used, and then is also commercialized, and it has been sold to over industry. So this was a very good example, and many partners in Laval have been working on this tool. So the second example I wanted to share here is the XI fire training. This is used for civil protection volunteers and also for security companies. And this was a world premiere, actually, because this is to train the people for the use of a fire extinguisher. And as you can see in the images here, the people will have a real fire extinguisher, and then they will extinguish the fire in an immersive environment. So you clearly get the mixture between the real life and the virtual life, and it's the immersivity once again, which is very important. And once again, you don't put the people at risk. There is no burn risk, and then you won't use any consumable, but still you can have the smoke, have the noise, have the smell, and everything. So it's really efficient, and it's really good to be able to be trained in this way. So the company here, Agoji, is a company we have been supporting also in Laval, and he has developed this tool, and is looking to develop new tools right now. So the next example is called Driver, and it's a diving simulator which has been developed for diving schools and also maritime training centers. And this has been developed by Clarté, which is a research and technology center in France. And there's a short video here that I wanted to share. Maybe I can, I don't know where's the sound here. Sorry about the sound. So you can see that the person in real life is equipped with, let me show that again. The person in real life is equipped with diving equipment, and the idea is that the person will be managing the ascent speed, so that they will learn little by little to manage the way they are going to go back to the surface. And I tried it and I died. So, but it's okay because I'm still here with you today. So this has also been developed in Laval, and once again, it is really both being immersed and wearing also the equipment. So it's a mixture. It's augmented reality and mixed reality, because you get really the mixture between all this world. So. As you can see, the examples are not all in the maritime sector. And the next, I don't know why I can't get to the next one. Next example is in the dental surgery field. Dental surgery simulator. So there was a need for universities, actually, and this has also been developed by a company in Laval. And this one is really interesting because we started a long time ago. And then it's really to train a future dentist to do surgery. And then thanks to this virtual reality device and environment, and with the haptic feedback that they have in the system, the trainee are able to be like in a real environment, and then they will even feel the different density in the gum you know, when they are going to do the surgery, which you can't do with clay jaws that they usually were using before. So this is also very important because you get all the people immersed, and then you will have the recording of the sessions, and then the professor can get back to the students and they can talk together about what happened. And it's a better immersivity than to what they would be doing on clay jaws, obviously. And also the trainer can learn from their mistake. And this is something which is very important, because you can do here as many mistakes as you want, but you won't be allowed to do that on real person, obviously. So this is something which has been developed in Laval, and then which is spreading in many universities in the world. And then the final example that I wanted to share with you, and once again, this example, there was a speed up of the training process also. And the final example is not training as such, but it's quite interesting also because it's an immersive display to be used for children's hospital with autistic disorder. And once again, it's really immersing the people in an environment where we need to get used to. So this is also the type of example we have seen previously in our environment. And then the children can be immersed in some environment which are where they would feel some fear, because they will get sensory simulation, and also, for instance, in crowded environment. And this is really important for them to get used to this environment before they go to the real life. So this is something unique in France, and which has been developed following the need of a university in a hospital. This is all for the example I wanted to share with you today. And so once again, what has been done here is always increasing the pedagogy and showing things that you can't really do in real life, and this is what is important, and which is possible with immersive technologies. And and as we said, it was also learning by doing, and then you can repeat as many times as you want, and you can also learn from your mistake. So I will be happy to talk with you if you wish, and you can do not hesitate to reach out or to contact me on my email or LinkedIn.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Valerie. I think that you mentioned a key question here when we're talking about training in safety and maritime safety, that it's you can do mistakes, but not when you are working with people. Thank you, yes, that's key. So we had reached the middle of the event, the public event. Now we have time for a coffee and a short break. For those of you that are attending the event face-to-face, we have the opportunity there outside in the hall to visit the showroom. We want to thank Pibico, App Intelligence, and also Immersive Oasis, their collaboration in this demo exhibition. So we asked some piece of their works to test physically what they are working on and what they can offer us. For those of you attending online, thank you for your assistance, and we will meet you again at 11:45. Thank you, and enjoy the coffee. Okay, welcome again to this selection event in the framework of the ATE Virtual project. Now it's the moment to start with the fast-track bridge presentations. In this last part of the public event, the pre-selected startups will have 3 minutes, only 3 minutes, to present their companies and their work. As an hybrid event that we are celebrating, some of the companies will do the presentation face-to-face here at the JOVELLANOS Training Center auditorium, and some others will present themselves from their countries. We will see there in the big screen. All of them will follow the same protocol to deliver their speech, and we count with the support of Anna Rietz, our colleague from JOVELLANOS Center, as online presenter. To make it more agile, I will explain now and once the rules for this competition. The presenter, me in my case, in the face-to-face it's me, and in the online event will be Anna Rietz, will introduce the company and will give you the time to share your presentation with the audience. Once the presentation is properly shared, I or she will say, "The floor is yours, your 3 minutes start now." This is the key sentence for the startup to start. Please take into account that the presentation should last no more than 3 minutes. And as a time reference, I will indicate you when 30 seconds left. From this I will say 30 seconds, and you must finish the presentation. And without more delay, I want to introduce the first startup pre-selected. AZAI Solution, represented by José Alberto Álvarez, industrial designer. José Alberto is responsible for innovation at Iluplex, a company that builds projects for shopping centers, a position he combines with his work at his own company, AZAI, dedicated to digital transformation. He has a multidisciplinary background, and his work is between the technical, the cultural, and the social. José Alberto, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much.
Your 3 minutes time starts now.
Okay. My name is José. It's my first time in English broadcast. Let's try. Maybe with the mouse. No.
The chrono is stopped.
No.
Sorry for this interruption. Sorry for this interruption. Obviously, you have the 3 times more. We will restart again when the presentation is ready. Maybe you want to try? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the time starts now.
Okay. AZAI was born in 2020. We joined 2 companies. One company is industrial design, and another company is software. In AZAI, we work for the change to the digital age. This is a new moment. This new moment needs new ways for working, I think, in AZAI. Now we have a new way for looking the reality with the data and the processing of this data, and because that, now needing new ways for working. Okay. Okay. We are in the digital age, but we need an agile place for work. No? Before we have 100% in remote, but in one moment we changed a place to not to work, but maybe to play, to meet, to do workshops and create prototypes. 19% is the work in remote, but Our place is called Diseño Barbarie, is design of barbaries, and it's an open place which collaborate with another company and associations. It's more a social place for create and professional community. The team is multidisciplinary within engineer. The profiles is industrial designers, computer science, electronics, and telecommunications. Yeah, this is the life of the company, and Kumquat is our main tool. It's a software and a digital ecosystem, and it's the soul of our projects. With it, we manage to integrate the whole of company in a digital environment. In Azai, we want to bring much more the digitalization to the industry. It's time to rethink the process and the application. Okay. Sorry. Bueno. Bueno. This is the works in Azai more common in the industry, and sometimes we working for introduce new forms to see the reality in the industry. This is a simple hologram in a butter mantequi. Okay. Sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
It's difficult to adjust the presentation to 3 minutes. Anyway, I think that, well, it's clear the multidisciplinary and the work that you do at Azai Solution. And now is the turn for BIM Ingema, represented by Enol Fernández-Dieguez. Enol is Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering. He's the director of BIM Ingema, where he coordinates works and developments in the field of electronics, data science, Internet of Things, and 3D printing. He has developed and patented techniques and equipment that have been tested and installed in different European reference industries. He also collaborates with the University of Oviedo, where he is developing a PhD in 3D printed materials. And all the floor is yours. Maybe you want to test the presentation.
I think it's okay. Thank you.
3 minutes starts now.
Okay, thanks. My name is Enol Fernández-Dieguez, and I am here on behalf of the company BIM Ingema. BIM Ingema is a technology company located in the north of Spain, in Asturias, and it is formed by engineers, physicists, and also by geologists with experience in research. BIM Ingema is a multidisciplinary company that is formed by 5 strategic areas that you can see here: this BIM sensor, BIM NDT, BIM tech, BIM hydro, and BIM geophys. The promoter team is formed by 2 doctors in physics, David Rubio and Pablo Garcia, and 1 mining engineer, Carlos Suarez, and for me, Enol Fernández, that I am mechanical engineer. The promoter team is expert in many areas typical of the Industry 4.0, as numerical modeling, signal processing, big data, IoT, or additive manufacturing. BIM have developed and patented many technologies that let us collaborate with many companies. As you can see here, this is some of our clients, and these clients, many of them are also multinational and give us experience making works all over the world. Our technology, solving the problems, starts with the theoretical conception and start doing the different steps to rise equipment manufacturing, always aided in the characteristical things of the Industry 4.0. As an example, I have here the beam remote monitoring system, which has 3 different parts. The first one is the sensorization, consisting a mesh of sensors that collect the data and send it to a central node. Okay. After this, the data is sent to the central node to being processed and analyzed, and this will be different in function of the processing that the project. Then the data is communicated and shown to the client with different kind of dashboards. Finally, I'm going to show you that our technology have a broad scope of application in energy sectors, civil course and conclusion, and sorry, that's all. Thanks.
Thank you to you. Thank you. And now we have our third representative of the pre-selected startups, Pibico, that they had worked together in this kind of course. Pibico will be represented by Francisco Alaez, the technical officer and co-founder of the company. Paco Alaez is Chief Technical Officer of Pibico. He is mining engineer by Oviedo University and has worked during more than 25 years on private engineering companies and been in charge of large management software deployment projects. Since 2019, he is technical officer and co-founder in Pibico, where his expertise is used for giving business management assistance solution with Internet of Things on platforms based on free open source software. So, Paco, I will give you time to check that your presentation is okay. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Your 3 minutes start now.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Francisco Alaez, CTO in Pibico. Pibico is a small company founded in 2019 in Asturias by 2 engineers with expertise in industrial projects and software for enterprise management and document control. We also are specialists on free open source solutions. Our past experience makes us understand very well the needs of our clients, so we can work hard together with them to innovate and get their digital transformation done. Our solutions are very customizable and we can deploy them in a quickly way. We provide global solutions. We mean that we have software that can model or modelize every process in a business. But also, with this standard software, we can verticalize to specific needs. And even more, we can get to personal views for specific users. Our concept for management, for Internet of Things, is the management. We capture data and mix this data with the business process. That's what we call pilot or processes with Internet of Things. But we can manage these processes locally without connection to Internet. We have different successful stories. The first one is PV Pharma, where we can take temperature readings from fridges in pharmacies and making automatic alerts when defined thresholds are trespassed. Also, automatic reports are made. We wish to thank Centro JOVELLANOS for this opportunity to make with them, is the one called Formación, where we, on our platform, placed or develop equipment for sending messages to trainees on training sessions. The third story is for activity registry on a fish farm facility. We are in social media and our software is also in GitHub. And finally, our main product is Pilot, an all-in-one solution, hardware and software, with mini servers, and where we have all our software even to capture data from sensor developed and designed for specific needs.
Time is over.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paco. Now we will listen to Táctica TIC, represented by Carlos Martínez Carcedo, Project Manager. Carlos Martínez is responsible for organizing projects from a technical and organizational point of view, leading the technical teams together with the communication with the stakeholders. He also has hands-on experience in software and systems engineering, and he holds a higher degree in telecommunication engineering from the University of Oviedo. Carlos, please check your presentation, please. Okay,
yes.
So your 3 minutes start now.
Okay, we are Táctica TIC. Táctica TIC is a young company. We were founded in 2017. Well, we are now around 10 people, with all of us with a technological background. Well, we said that we really enjoy innovation. It's part of our DNA. No, in fact, we have been involved in 14 R&D projects since our birth. What we do? At Táctica TIC, we have two main fields. One of them is IoT, and we define IoT as connecting the real world with the virtual world. The real world, the world of sensors, the world of electronic devices, with virtual world, that is the world of internet, the world of platforms. Well, for example, we are monitoring, we have a platform for monitoring indoor air quality with meters. Nowadays we are working on a recent project that is a connected car platform, where we can monitor, well, we can track the car, but also we can monitor different values, and also we can control that car, open, close doors, block ignition, etc. Well, on the other hand, the other main field, we are working on computer vision, that is about applying artificial intelligence to analyze images. Well, we can count, for example, people, and we can see the live occupancy of beaches, or we can shape the traffic. For example, we can gauge the road traffic. For example, in a parking lot, we can see occupancy, but also we can shape the traffic by taking insights of the type of cars, time of the days, reading the plates. Other interesting project that we are working on is we are supervising when you are managing freighters in suspension cranes. We are managing that, for example, at the depot, there is no people crossing or is on a dangerous area. So we can improve the security in that places. Well, that's all. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Carlos. He was inside the time. Finally, the last startup who will do the presentation face-to-face, after that we will connect with Teams, is Jorge Blanco, Technical Director of App Intelligence. Jorge Blanco is electronic engineer with a master in industrial automation and IT. Since he joined App Intelligence in 2020, he has been involved in the application of artificial intelligence techniques, including deep learning and artificial vision, to the development of chatbots, digital twins, and platforms for data analytics and prediction in a wide range of sectors. In April 2021, he has been promoted as Technical Officer of App Intelligence, being the main coordinator of the software and engineering projects of the company. He has been awarded with a grant from the Spanish Ministry of Science for pursuing a business PhD project in computer science related to the development of platforms based on artificial intelligence for the management of health and emergency systems. So please, Jorge, check that your presentation is okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and your 3 minutes starts now.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, I'm Jorge Blanco. I'm CTO of App Intelligence. Let me explain you briefly our description, values, expertise of the startup. App Intelligence is a startup founded in 2017. It's a technological startup. We are placed in Oviedo, in the Vivarium, near to the hospital, and the CA in Asturias. We have another branch office in the University of Valladolid, and we have it in the University of Oviedo. In the University of Valladolid, we have our private data center with the standard ISO 27001, which is the main standard of cybersecurity and protect data. Our expertise, we focus in digital twins, expert control systems, and in a digital twin, it's like a representation, virtual representation of a process, physical process, controlled by artificial intelligence. We have in one branch IoT systems, where we have our sensors, and we monitorize a process. We have the development of software applications, where we can manage all this data. We have a data lake, and we provide artificial intelligence to this data, to the management of the data. To the representation, we have virtual representation, and we can see in an application, web application, mobile application, etc. We are composed by a young and multidisciplinary team. We have a wide variety of people of different areas: physics, electronics, GIS, industrial engineers, artificial intelligence developers. And our mission is focus in 5.0 technology, which is to place the person in the middle of the project. That doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. Let me explain some success cases. We developed digital twin in improvement transformation in a process of the food industry, in predictive maintenance of the machines, and environmental control of a solid waste landfill. And in focusing the maritime safety, we developed in chatbot with MTU training course, chatbot artificial vision and augmented reality for training CPR, and with Centro JOVELLANOS, a big data and artificial intelligence applied to maritime traffic safety. And other branch is the e-health on prediction of patient flow, care demand, development of mobile applications, and virtual assistants for control patients. Thank you.
That's over. Well, you can say thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to do the presentation.
Thank you, Jorge. So from now on, we will continue with the presentation, the fast pitch presentation online of the companies that are connected from our countries. I want to say hello to Anna Rietz. Hi, Anna. And they will start with the presentations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Covadonga. Good afternoon from the online part of the event. We continue with the pitch competition and magic of the online. We go to Portugal. It is time for a new startup, Inclusion Entertainment. Mr. Barbosa, good morning. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Let me just share my screen.
While you are sharing with us your screen, I will introduce you. André Barbosa holds a Master of Science in Computer Science and Engineering, and he is also an invited professor teaching augmented reality and software engineering topics in Lisbon. He is co-founder and director of technology at Inclusion Entertainment, where he leads a multidisciplinary team of augmented reality and virtual reality developers. Everything is okay, Mr. Barbosa?
Perfect. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, perfect.
Yep.
So, Mr. Barbosa, the floor is yours. Your 3 minutes starts now.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I am André Barbosa. I am co-founder and director of technology at Inclusion. Inclusion was founded 9 years ago and is a software development company, but for the last 6 years, we have been focusing on augmented reality and virtual reality experiences. And recently, we closed the Series A funding that allowed us to push further in that direction. So over the years, we have worked on several projects in these areas for different industries. We started in 2016 with a project for the entertainment industry. This was a project that included augmented reality and virtual reality for some of the largest shopping centers in Portugal, for the largest brand of shopping centers. This basically included creating animated characters that people could interact with in virtual reality or augmented reality. This was done 3 years in a row for these centers and was a huge success for them with over 12,000 visitors each year for each of these projects. We also work in the sports industry. We have a project called Evolver Training System, which is deployed in Benfica, for example, which is the largest club here in Portugal. And this basically allows coaches to experience in virtual reality the result of their training sessions that they plan. So they can basically plan how a training session for a player could occur. They create a training session in VR. They can preview and see a player actually using the training session that they created to make sure that it works and that it is effective. We also work in the training and simulation industry, so we are actively creating projects like the one that you are seeing right now, which is Mountain Survival VR. And this project basically trains survival techniques in the mountains so that a person can learn how to actually survive in the cold winter, for example, in this sort of scenario. And this is done in the scenario of Serra da Estrela here in Portugal as well. And finally, we also work in the healthcare and medical industry. We have a European Union funded project that we are working on currently that's called Immersive Tension Relief System. And basically this project was created to make sure that the visit to the dentist can be less stressful than it is currently. So we are using virtual reality, and we are partners with University of Reading. We are researching how we can actually use VR to make a visit to the dentist less stressful. So in 30 seconds, this is Inclusion. Thank you very much.
Time. So thank you very much, Mr. Barbosa. Really interesting. And it is time now to go to France. We continue with the startup Inot Solutions. Felix Lenoir, good afternoon.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah.
With us your presentation. I will introduce you in the meantime.
Yes.
Felix Lenoir is an augmented and virtual reality engineer. He holds a master's degree specialized in augmented reality and virtual reality application development. Felix has more than 8 years of experience creating and developing virtual reality experiences. At first, he led 3D artists for an American company for over 5 years. He has recently joined Inot team to imagine, create, and develop immersive solutions. Is everything okay, Felix?
Yep. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, perfectly. So, Mr. Lennon, the floor is yours. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Thank you. So yes, as Anna said, I'm Felix. I'm a 3D interactive engineer at Inot Solutions here in France, and today I'll talk to you about who we are and what we do in Inot. So let's start with our 3 brands and products. We have first Inot Studio, where we develop tailor-made AR and VR applications, such as serious game and training applications. Our second product is ScaleView. This software that we are developing allows professionals such as architects, industrials to test, review, and present in VR their 3D content. And finally, we have what we call Ma Valise VR, and we design and create virtual reality kits that fits into suitcase for safer and easier carrying. So, as Anna said, we are in France, located in Laval, which is a bit more than an hour from Paris by train, just so you know. Then the team. So we are seven people, and as you can see, we have many competencies, such as 3D interactive engineers, developers, graphic designers, and so on. In a few numbers, we exist in 6 years, created in 2016. We have 50 plus customers. As seen previously, we have 3 brands and product. And we've done so far 70 plus projects. What we can say about a bit more is we are accompanying our clients with the agile methodology and support our clients all along the application lifespan. Sorry. Now I will focus on the eNode Studio, our creative service where we create and design 3D experiences in AR and VR applications. And so here I have 2 examples. So on the left, we have a serious game where you have to go over the different steps of identifying pathogens for an analysis laboratory. And on the right, we have a logistics training application where trainee has to follow specific rules and steps to input products onto the logistics chain.
30 seconds.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, for me, thank you for your intentions, and don't hesitate to reach our website for more informations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Linot. Thank you for your presentation. We stay in the beautiful France this time, but it is time for C-Proven. Mr. Chebu.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, good afternoon. While you share your screen with us, I'm going to introduce you. Antoine Thibault is a marine robotic expert passionate about innovation and ocean. After 10 years developing collaborative and innovative projects with various small, medium enterprise and large industrial companies, Antoine has decided to join the company C-Proven as an associate. C-Proven is now one of the European leaders in terms of autonomous surface vessels. So, Mr. Thibault, I think we can see all the screens, so maybe you want to make...
Yep. Is that working now? Is that in full screen?
No, we are seeing the slides, the other part of the presentation, not the one.
Okay. Is that working now? Maybe not.
We still we continue. Maybe you can stop sharing and share again if you want. We can see the presentation, but we can see, as you can imagine, the program.
Okay, I will do that then up.
Perfect.
Not perfect, but it will work.
Okay, so Mr. Thibault, the floor is yours. Your 3 minutes start now.
Okay, thank you everyone. So I'm Antoine Thibault, I'm the CEO of C-Proven. C-Proven is a French company supported by Laval Mayenne Technopole since the creation. It was 8 years ago now, and we are experts in marine robotics. So to present our company, it's working? Yeah, sorry. So we are speaking about ocean, and as you probably know, the observation of ocean are mainly done by space satellites. Those are great tools for collecting surface data on very large areas. But unfortunately, all the data below the surface is really difficult to collect with those systems. And this in situ data is really important for different kind of application. And C-Proven is focusing its activity on this, collecting this in situ data between the surface and the deep floor. So we decide to develop our own satellites. So it's an unmanned surface vessel, 20 meter long, fully autonomous and fully electric. With that, we have the capacity to be at sea during 10 months in total autonomy, and we can collect more than 50 different type of parameters. We also develop another smaller system, more for rivers and coastline, but the spirit is the same. We can collect different kind of data. In terms of development and ambition, our objective is to develop what we call a constellation of autonomous surface vessels. That means fleet of 5, 6, 10 vessels on a different area. We are able to synchronize each boat, and we have the capacity to collect a lot of data on a really large area with those systems. And our ambition is to deploy 300 systems by 2028. So there is a lot of application. We already did a few in terms of monitoring, IoT resources, for example, pollution, but also in terms of surveillance of the traffic. In terms of business model, we don't sell the boats. We are selling the data we are collecting. It's a business model inspired by the space sector. In terms of roadmap, so now we are deploying our solution in Spain, in Portugal right now. We are deploying also, we'll deploy our solution in Norway, Canada next year. We have a few development to do, and we plan to have our first constellation with 5 big autonomous vessels by 2023. We also have developed another smaller solution named Speed Rescue. That's the link with this project also. So for rescue at sea, in that case, we are selling the system, so it's not the data. Yeah.
But 3 minutes ends.
And yeah, to finish, we have an experienced team in industry, marine robotics, and others. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tebu, and very interesting as well. We fly back now to Portugal to introduce our next startup, that is Triumvirate. And Mr. Torres, sorry, good morning.
Good morning.
While you share, okay, I'm going to introduce you. Vasco Torre is the CEO of the Triumvirate and the CTO of Insit VR. He holds a Master of Science in Software Engineering and has developed products for entertainment and education for all kinds of platforms, with the most recent focus being virtual reality. Everything is okay, I think. So
can you see my screen?
Perfectly.
Okay.
So, Mr. Torres, the floor is yours. Your 3 strict minutes starts now.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Vasco Torres. I'm the CEO of Triumvirate, and I'm here to show you how we revolutionize training in education using virtual reality. Education tries to reinvent itself whenever new technologies arise, but it's too slow on adoption, and it still fails in several areas. Let me give you a real-life example that everyone knows. In 2009, we had the miracle on the Hudson. Captain Sullenberg landed a powerless jetliner in the Hudson River, saving all 155 lives on board. But from all of those passengers, only 33 brought their life vest when they were evacuated. And from those, only 4 put it on correctly. We hear, we see, and we read about this procedure every single time that we get on a flight. But we clearly do not learn what we've been told. Why? Because we need to practice. Practice is what builds muscle memory. But practice can be expensive. Captain Sullenberg, like many other commercial pilots, spends days in simulators practicing emergency procedures, building their muscle memory, so that on that day, in that split second, they know exactly what to do. But those simulators cost millions. How can we have that kind of practice, but at an affordable rate? The answer is virtual reality. Virtual reality offers hands-on practice, allowing users to experiment as many times as they want, being able to fail safely and learn from it. You can use virtual reality anywhere, in your workplace, while you're traveling, or in your couch at home. With virtual reality, you have constant and individualized assessment and feedback. And finally, it's affordable and easy to find. A state-of-the-art headset costs a couple of €100, and it no longer needs to be connected to a powerful computer, allowing products to scale easily. Now, why should you choose us? Our team has been developing products for training and education for more than a decade now, from mobile game-based learning to complex virtual reality scenarios. We have a proprietary methodology called the immersive learning experience design that we use to create our products. We have more than 20 products created and more than 1 million sessions played. Most of our products have been awarded and with awards, and we are very proud of that. The days of unpractical, inefficient, and costly training and education are over. With our immersive experiences, you can use virtual reality to completely revolutionize your products. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Torres. As well, very interesting. Thank you. It is time for us to go to Ireland and introduce Mr. O'Driscoll. Good afternoon, Mr. O'Driscoll. Good afternoon. Please share.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Please share with us your presentation, and in the meantime, I will introduce you. Holding a degree in design and technology with current teaching and a Master of Arts in Teaching and Learning, Brendan O'Driscoll applies his passion and expertise to inquiry-based learning within the standard virtual reality setting. He has spent 13 years teaching international, 5 of which as a curriculum coordinator and head of department. As head of client services, he provides strategic direction to his team by monitoring performance and assessing customer satisfaction and industry trends. So, Mr. O'Driscoll, the floor is yours. I think everything is okay.
Thank you, Anna, and good afternoon, everyone. Nowadays, it's becoming more and more challenging to create emotionally engaging content, and that's probably due to the amount of information that we're constantly being exposed to and becoming immune to, perhaps. It was this very issue that really sparked the formation of Virtual Tour Media. We essentially wanted to provide a more transparent and engaging form of communication. So my own experience in the education sector had me convinced that immersing participants in a resourceful environment and actually giving them full control of their learning would almost certainly help them to retain information better. So in 2021, during the height of the COVID pandemic, I decided to leave my teaching career, and together with Dennis Vahi, our co-founder, we began creating products that not only met that criteria, but also capitalized on our expertise and our resources available. And that's what we've done, and that's what we continue to do. In just under 8 months, we've created photorealistic 360 virtual solutions for clients, such as Tipperary food producers, Buckled Wheel, and most recently, Cistercian College, a boarding school in Rossgrey, Tipperary. These digital twins act as honest marketing tools and provide realistic representation for the clients and their brand. However, as immersive storytellers and myself, an educator with a keen interest in discovery-based learning, we're anxious to provoke these same levels of engagement within a virtual training environment. With just 3 full-time members on our team, collectively, we bring a range of skills to the table. Dennis, our creative director and co-founder, is also our commercial photographer and videographer. he provides the most realistic digital representations of an environment possible. Maru himself, an IAA-approved drone operator and second shooter, specializes in the creation of the virtual tours, while I oversee the entire project, particularly from a UI and a UX perspective, while of course also working with the client and our own team. What we are most proud of is the fact that we rely on our professional photography to create the most realistic digital environments. It has meant that over 90% of our work to date has been completed within our small team. We have more control over what we do, and our clients always get a more personal experience from us. We're a young company with big ambitions in an exciting industry. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. O'Driscoll, and thank you for sharing us this interesting presentation. Now, we stay in Ireland, closing the speech competition with Visuation 3D. We have two colleagues from there.
Hello.
Finally, Mr. Hart and Mr. Duffy.
Hi.
I think Mr. Cillian Hart is the one that is going to present the pitch. Perfect. So I'm going to introduce you while you are sharing the presentation. Cillian Hart holds a BS in construction management with experience in architectural offices, on-site engineering experience, and 4 years teaching experience as a subject teacher for 3D modeling in architecture. Cillian Hart constantly keeps up to date with everything architecture and VR related. Cillian also speaks intermediate Spanish, hola, and has worked with clients outside of Ireland and around the world. So Cillian, Mr. Hart, the floor is yours. Your 3 minutes starts now.
My name is Cillian Hart. I'm the director of Visuation 3D Limited, and this is our pitch presentation. So I have a degree in construction management from MTU. I've worked in architectural offices, as you said, as Anna said. I've on-site engineering experience, and I have done teaching for 4 years in architectural modeling. We also have Brian Duffy on the team from BrianDuffyGames.com. Brian Duffy is a games developer based in Dublin with a first-class honours BA degree in game design and extensive experience creating immersive VR simulation. Myself, I specialize in 3D modeling, textures, light baking, real-time rendering, and the VR environment as a whole. Brian Duffy specializes in VR development, specifically in Unity, specializing in game design and gameplay programming, UI, UX, audio animation, and VFX for games. This would just be an example of my own 3D internal rendering, and it kind of shows an example of how realistic we can get it. And and the next slide is, this is like VR interactive moving around, so you can fully immerse yourself and the capabilities of moving into each area of the model, the interior model. Next is just a quick clip of the capabilities. So like, this is the VR clip of the capabilities, and myself and Brian Duffy, when we mix in my expertise of realism and texturing and with the game design, we will be able to create the environment for the firefighting training. Effectively, we will be able to virtually recreate firefighting training units, hyper-realistic textures for the 3D environment, prepare required 3D assets like fire extinguishers, etc., develop realistic interactions with virtual safety equipment, create precise systems in line with training, and establish, which is very important, establish a workflow capable for future expansion in this project for educational purposes. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hart.
Thank you.
Thank you. And this is all from our side, from the online part of the event. Covadonga colleagues, we give you the floor back.
Thank you, Anna. And mainly thanks to all the startups for their presentation. It is not easy to condense all the expertise and the experience in 3 minutes, but at least we have now a general idea. So this is the moment to thank all of you for your attendance to this selection event. The process will finish this afternoon with the last step of the selection, which consists in the B2B meetings or interviews between the maritime safety training centers and the preselected startups. And well, for all of you, the final decision will be published in the AT Virtual Project webpage in a few days. For those of you attending face-to-face, we will group outside in the hall or in the main entrance to visit our facilities at JOVELLANOS Center and our simulators. You have in your lanyards a group A, B, C, or D to make the groups. We will talk about it there outside in the hall. And those other attending online, we bid you farewell with a video of our activities carried out in this center. It's not the same visiting the facilities face-to-face, but we hope you enjoy the video. Thank you very much again for your attendance and your attention. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Now we are out of the streaming, we are more relaxed. And as I said, you have in your card some groups, A, B, C, or D. We will go outside. Group number 1 will start the visit with our director, Julian Campos.